So, good afternoon, and thank you for the brief introduction. And before I start my talk, let me just appreciate the organizers of TEDx Test for selecting a theme like this, clarity in chaos. I mean, it's pretty much relevant in the present day, as you all know. We have been following through so many chaos in life. So, in this particular talk, what I was planning to do is I was just discuss the chaos that happened in my life, or the chaos that's still happening in my life, and what it taught me over a period of time. That's my whole purpose. When my daughter was born 9 years back, I had so much of expectations for her. I had so much of dreams for her. I know it's not quite fair to see dreams for your daughter. An individual should see their own dreams. We should not build expectations or dreams for them. They have to see their own dreams, right? In fact, I used to fight a lot with my parents for the same reason because they also had so much of expectation from me as well. They wanted to maybe they wanted me to be something. They wanted me to do something, but that didn't turn up, right? I traveled in my own path. They had their expectation, and I used to fight with them like hell. But then, as I stepped into the stage of parenthood, the parental instinct comes into play. I repeated the same mistake. I also started dreaming for my kid. Now, I'm an ardent fan of cricket and badminton. That's just that I'm an ardent fan of cricket and badminton. I'm not a player. You can very well make out from my physique. Okay. In fact, I tried. I tried my best to be in any of the cricket team. I tried my best to be in the badminton team, but my peers and my friends wouldn't allow me to play because I was so bad in it. Okay. It's not my mistake. They were not allowing me because I was so bad in it. All right. So normally when the parents see or parents have expectations or dream for their kid, it's something which they couldn't achieve in their entire lifetime. That's what happens. All right. What they couldn't achieve over a period of time in their life, they really want their kids to achieve or accomplish in their life. That's how they see the success. The parents see the success. Same is the case with me. I wanted my daughter to be the next Smriti Mandana of Indian cricket. I wanted my daughter to be the next PV Sindhu of badminton. That's my expectation. Small expectations. I'm sorry, but it's small expectations. No, that's just in the sports domain. I have got different domains, and I've got different dreams for it. All right. For it, if it's the sports with Smriti Mandana and PV Sindhu, I had the science domain wherein I wanted my daughter to be the next Tessie Thomas. I'm sorry. Again, very small expectations. But something struck pretty hard. The reality was slightly different. It was not as what I expected things would turn out to be. All right. Slowly, something called as a chaos started entering into our life. Slowly, the chaos entered into our life without no much of drama, no much of noise. When we normally hear this term chaos, we always have this feeling that it would come with a loud bang. No, that was not the case. Here in our case, it came with some mere silence. It came with some improper eye contacts. It came with a 6 letter word, AUTISM, autism. My daughter was diagnosed at the age of 3 as an autistic kid. Chaos in the life. Now, see, I come from a mechanical engineering background. For me, it's like I'm so much fascinated towards the inputs and the outputs. You give the right inputs, you get the right output. You set the process parameters, you optimize the process parameter. The system has to work properly. There's no other way around, right? You have the right equations. You substitute the proper process parameters. You have the perfect system working in front of you. But life had something different for me. It didn't have any correlation with the inputs or the outputs. It came entirely with a different dimension, in fact. Now, again, As an engineer, the engineering instinct would come into play. See, we now have a situation in hand. My daughter is autistic. We have to tackle it. As an engineer, the right thing, what I do it, I have to adapt to the situation, right? How do I adapt the situation? I have to tackle the situation. I have to find if there is some other alternatives for it so that I can make the system perfect. That's what an engineer does, right? When you face a problem, you have to figure out some alternative solution so that the system works perfectly. But then again, it doesn't work like that. But I tried. My engineers, my engineers' point of view wouldn't stop me from doing it. I have to try. I'm not sure whether you have heard about the therapies that I'm going to mention right now. I started with the basic therapies for my daughter. As per the advice from the experts, we started with the basic speech therapy, we started with the occupational therapy, we started with the learning therapy, the behavioral therapy, the hippotherapy. I'm sure you have not heard about it. And there were so many therapies, so on. As per the suggestions of the expert, we tried a gluten free diet for my 4-year-old kid. Gluten free diet for a 4-year-old kid. Again, as per the advice from the experts, we start giving her chocolates. Start giving chocolates for a 4-year-old kid. Again, they said you have to completely stop the screen time. Zero time. We tried it for 8 to 9 months. Zero screen time for a 4-year-old kid. Did the system work well? She's not a machine. She's a human being, right? No, I'm still a hardcore engineer at my heart. I still work with systems. I have to try to understand where this is going wrong. As a mechanical engineer, during our course, we used to study a lot about something called as cracks, crack propagation, fatigue, theories of failure. Now, when we deal with some equipments, when we deal with some costly systems, we literally cannot afford to scrap it when it is failing. We need to analyze the failure, right? We need to analyze the failure so that we understand where we went wrong, what process parameters were wrong, what assumptions went wrong, what assumptions went wrong. Engineers always take some assumptions and you have to analyze the assumptions what went wrong. That's the exact point I could correlate the engineer's point of view and my child's life. The expectation that I had about my daughter, the expectation that she has to be the next Pradeep Mandana, the PV Sindhu, and Tessie Thomas. The expectation that I had for my daughter was some unvalidated assumptions. Who made these assumptions? Who made the system that the system has to work like that? My expectation that she should be verbally communicating things with me, my expectations, my assumptions were wrong. My assumption that she has to give me proper eye contact, that is again wrong. My assumption that she has to play like other kids, that assumption is wrong. She was different in her own way, but in fact, she was happy in her own way. Now, slowly, I started getting a small clarity on it. It was all the mere assumption, or it was all the rules and regulations that was set by some unknown person. We really don't know who set all these regulations. We really don't have a clue who actually set these rules, wherein they say the child has to play with their peers, the child has to communicate verbally. We really don't know who set these rules. We really don't know if there was some rules or regulations prescribed in any books which we were trying to follow. We really didn't have a clue about it. So slowly, a clarity was emerging in our minds. But when I say the clarity was emerging, it doesn't mean that chaos really went up. No, chaos was already there. It was doing their role, but then along with it, the clarity also slowly emerged along with the chaos. Now, for all the youngsters sitting out here, I have just got a very small message. It's okay to fail the expectations. As an youngster, there's so much of expectations from your parents, from your teachers, from your peers. Now, once you get into a job, from your boss, from your elders, everyone is having so much of expectations from you. It's okay to fail those expectations. It's okay if you don't meet those expectations. Nothing big in it. If you fail to meet the expectation, doesn't mean that you are a failure. What it actually means is the model that you have been adopting so far was slightly wrong. You might have to go for a different model. That's the point. You are not a failure in your own way. The model that you adopted had to be changed. So it's totally okay if you fail to meet the expectations set by someone else. Now, this 9-year-old kid, my daughter, who doesn't speak a word, she's nonverbal, but she taught us so many important lessons in our life. And one of the biggest lesson is that let it go. Let things go. She communicated with us in her non-verbal ways that you don't have to be in a rat race to be the first in the class. You don't have to be in the rat race to fetch the best job. You don't have to be in the rat race to fetch the best partner. No, let it go. What life gives you, be happy about it, enjoy it, live your life. Now, one another important lesson that she taught me, at times it's not pretty necessary to fit into the system designed by someone else. We really don't know who designed the system. It's okay not to fit in the system. At times, the system needs a change. I hope you got my point. I am very proud of my daughter, even if she's not communicating, even if she's non-verbal. But when and the clarity emerged, we really understood. When we really observed her, we really understood that she was expressing her concerns. She was expressing her emotions. She was expressing her anger. She was expressing her hunger. She was expressing her discomfort. She was expressing everything. It's just that we failed to recognize it because we followed the rules of the system. There is a different rule book that she has made before even her birth. So, as I said, I'm pretty proud of my daughter, and myself and my wife, we are very much ready to change the system if that is what is required. That's it from me, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much.